So greetings again, friends, and welcome to another episode of Bishop, and we're going to continue from where we were last time. This one is how to help an addict quit smoking, how to help addicts quit. So in this case, I'm going to give you an example of myself and how I managed to exit. So I started like this. I went to high school, and then I got to high school after maturing, crossing from adolescence to teenage, crossing from my primary school to high school now. And then I met my friends smoking cigarette. My father was a smoker, but that is not what got me in that kind of life. I got in that kind of life from meeting my friend Mark Gregory Jackton, young with a cigarette, and then we did what? I tasted cigarette, and without knowing, I found myself, because of staying in that company, I found myself tasting cigarette, yeah, frequently, then it got more frequent, and then I found myself able to buy my own cigarettes and do what? And smoking them. I smoked cigarettes, no nonsense. It was serious cigarette smoking, and it became part of my life. So all my high school life, I was a smoker. And due to external influences from my friends and people that were in my environment, I found myself becoming a very, very good smoker. And I have smoked cigarettes. I really smoked. I smoked cigarettes for since 1982 up to 1990 when I decided to quit. I smoked cigarettes, and it was serious smoking. I didn't choose between the brands, between filterless or filter. Consider I used to smoke, and I have smoked cigarettes for 10 years, and I have first-hand experience in that one. And what I'm telling you is not nonsense. I could not stay for a whole day without smoking. At work, every time you are in the washroom, doing what? Puffing, sucking at a cigarette or sucking a roll of opium. Every time I was always, I wanted to keep myself busy with a stick of cigarettes or things like that. And during the weekend, you go to the slums and sip a total homemade whiskey. Nobody. Very, very concentrated whiskey. Just a touch of it and you are high. Imagine that way, and someone can consume up to a liter of it, playing with death in their hands. Some primitivism and ignorance, and others just lack of self-control, and they indeed addicted their own lives. Even if people deaths occurred of people who overate, overdosed the whiskey, the opium, but it doesn't scare them. Tomorrow they're back there, clustering the slums, the brewers, dens, and they sip that thing terribly. They eat it, and it was a nonsense. And me, I was worse because I wanted always to keep myself busy, doing something busy, doing something. And cigarette smoking was a very good alternative. Every time with a stick between a burning stick between your what? Your fingers, and you're smoking without knowing. So I had been hearing of people, organization, the World Health Organization, the Department of Health in Kenya, and many other people. See that organization trying to educate and advise the wananchi, trying to advise the public against the consumption of cigarette smoking, whiskey, and drug use, cocaine, heroin, and the rest. WHO used to advise us and teach us, and our banners and posters everywhere, radio programs, messages on the television and everywhere. But I used not to take it serious. It didn't look like it was serious. It never looked to me like it was serious or it would be serious in any way. Until when I got where? Until when I got when I experienced the first effects of cigarette smoking onto my health. See that? When I realized the first smoking, see that? So after smoking, by that time I was able to buy my own cigarettes, my own whiskey, and I was working in a tea factory, tea manufacturing factory, and I was earning my own dough. I was doing my own budget, and nobody could come to control me. I was smoking the way I wanted. I smoked and smoked terribly. So by 1980 or 85, I started noticing the first effects of cigarettes consumption against my health. I smoked it, and then I started having colds. See that? Colds. And very, very light, very fine mucus. Very light mucus pouring down my nose like tap water. And you have to walk around with a what? With a handkerchief. A good one, actually cotton, not just handkerchief, but a good one with good absorbing capacities. So that when you get into the factory, you don't keep running to the washroom, People start wondering. So you have to, you bend, you hide it, and you dry your nose. And so I used to get a cold. And 99% of the year, I was always suffering from a what? A cold. So when you smoke that thing, it gets into you, and then you cannot do what? It goes and through means and ways that you don't know, ways that the doctors, researchers, and everyone has, scientists, everyone in the science world hasn't discovered, my friend. Just when you pass through the city and go to the supermarket and come back, you already picked a cold somewhere. You have it. That you are sneezing, too short, too short, too short, too short. See that? When you get home, you try to smoke. You want to smoke. You have a cold. You want to smoke. The need, the hunger the yearn for the cigarette is still the same when you have this, when you have the cold, or when you don't have it, you still have it, and you must smoke it, and you tap the packet, the matchbox, and you are going. After finishing it, the inside of your what? The nostril down the windpipe is doing what? Is itching you, is kind of aching, kind of itching, and feelings that you cannot explain in the English language. And you have to go. You have to look like that. So when you get the cold, when you catch the cold, even if you used medicine to heal, the medicine that we know in this modern world that heals colds and aches and the pain that goes to the cold and fevers and all that, it could not stop that thing. So a cold, a cold attack would last you some 3 to 4 weeks. See that? 3 to 4 weeks. Then the fourth week, then the mucus starts thickening, thickening. See, then it starts thickening, then it starts helping what? The body. So the thickening takes you about another 2 or 3 weeks. That is 7 weeks you have. You are fighting a what? A cold. See? So that's what happened to us, and what happened to others could be different. You see that? So it continues aching you, and you are sneezing, and you are running nose, and all this, and there is no alternative in this world. You have to look like that until it stops by itself. Even if you went to the doctor, even if you use Cafinol, use Dawanol, use whatever, Panadol, it was the same, always for about 7 weeks. So by the 7th week, the mucus is doing what? It is thickening. And by that time, it ends about another 8 weeks or 10 weeks. Now we start doing what? You get well. See that? You get well now. You can walk without sneezing. You will last only for 2 weeks. Then next, the third week, when you go to the town or you go to the supermarket to get food or to do something or to mix with the people, you have picked another cold. You've come back sneezing. It was a weekend on Sunday. You're sneezing. This year, this year, this year. You're sneezing like, see that? The next day, after 2 or 3 days, you have an around in your nose. With water as clear as what? As pure water, my friend. It is your sneezing. And then, so, I used to be stay alive only. I used to be well only 2 weeks. After 10 weeks, then you go for another 2 weeks, then you catch a cold. And another 10 weeks or 12 weeks, then you catch. There are only 48 weeks in a year. You can calculate and you will know that smoking tobacco is very, very, very bad for someone there. It's very, very bad against somebody's against life, that is. It hurts. So after feeling that one, I decided to stop. So now I was struggling. So it was time for my annual leave, and I had to go home and live with people away from where my place of work. So I went to live. So I had to stop. I was struggling to find for any existing help. This was scientific help on how I can stop doing what? Smoking, smoking tobacco, drinking whiskey, drinking local beer, local whiskey, homemade whiskey and homemade beer. You see that hygiene is not guaranteed because it is handled inside the home by what? Hmm? With little resources. See that very little resources that cannot guarantee you good hygienic standards. So we used to eat it, we used to drink it and do everything, and we used to get drunk and enjoy it very much and go home singing and very proud, like you own the whole universe, without knowing that it was hurting you slowly by slowly, that at a speed that you cannot notice. See that? At a speed that you cannot. So when I got there now, I started. I reached there now. So I met my friend Patrick. Patrick gave me an Adventist. This guy was selling Adventist church Christian literature, hmm, published, written and published by the Adventist church. So I will continue from there the next time we meet on the next episode. Goodbye and see you then.